Jai Shriman Narayan. Jai Shriman Narayan. Jai Shriman Narayan. I pay my obeisances to my spiritual master, Srimad Jagat Guru Sudarshan Acharyaji Maharaj. I pay my obeisances to Lord Sri Ramanuj. I pay my obeisances to our Purva Acharyas. I pay my obeisances to our 12 Alvars. I pay my obeisances to Mother Lakshmi. And I pay my obeisances to Lord Sriman Narayan. I welcome all of you here physically at the Sri Narayan Dham in Durban, South Africa. I welcome those that's watching this discourse locally, nationally, and internationally. And I welcome in advance those that's going to be watching this discourse when it is posted on YouTube and the various groups from around the world. Our topic for discussion today the Battle of Kurukshetra in South African politics. Today, we dedicate this Satsang to all South Africans on the eve of the municipal elections, which will be culminated tomorrow. We pray that the Lord, through His grace, changes the political dimension from a corrupt-ridden government in all spheres to a divine society. We pray there is no hostility, there is no violence, and the change that's going to start tomorrow will culminate in its entirety at the municipal elections of 2031. In 2031, the South African political dimension will be brand new. There will be a new flourishing South Africa, and South Africa will be a country to be reckoned with. Its inherent capacity is to be in the same room with the superpowers. However, corruption and rogue politicians have robbed South Africa of this prime position. Many, including my own personal devotees, have become bewildered when the Guru decided that it was time to get into the forefront of politics. It is natural and it is a way of life that when we are impelled in one direction and when change is needed, the Supreme Lord throws some obstacles in our path. And whilst I was relishing giving you discourses on the absolute science, the absolute scientist, the supreme scientist, we needed to change directions. Because all of that is of no use to us if our house is in a quandary, if our families are in a quandary, if our community is in a quandary, if our society is in a quandary, and if our country is in a quandary. The events of July where every South African, especially those in Gauteng, Pietermaritzburg, and here in Durban, KwaZulu-Natal, did not know whether they will be, what their status will be the next day. We were all isolated in our homes and we had families right round. We did not know if our families and our children will be alive the next day. Today the looting is over and it's gone far behind our minds. I want all of you to relive. It is October, August, July, 2 months, 2.5 months. Relive 2.5 months when you didn't know your parents were going to be alive, when you didn't know your children going to be alive. And it is this that has impelled the Sri Narayan Dham to come in the forefront of politics, so this July never happens in our lives again. We have the capacity, and God has the grace. And if we provide the human capacity, God will grace us to ensure that July never happens again, not only in South Africa, but around the world. So the work is big, the work is serious, and I have not shifted 1 millimeter from the parameters of verdict injunctions. I have not shifted 1 millimeter from the parameters of the verdict injunctions. So many devotees were confused, some were even upset when I started inviting political parties to the Sri Narayan Dham. And I don't see some of them here anymore. Well, being a devotee of the God, of the Supreme Lord, means you must be selfless. No selfish person has ever been embraced by the Supreme Lord. Selfishness is a division between you and the Lord. Selfishness divides you from ever meeting the Lord. So those that want to selfishly protect their own, you'll live a comfortable life depending on your merits, but you'll never meet the Lord in any of His forms. The first rule of meeting the Lord is selflessness. You must sacrifice your own so that others can enjoy the benefits of your sacrifice. Then you become a devotee of the Lord. Having said that, the Lord has not left us in the dark. It is we who want to live in the dark. You'll notice that 55% of Muslims are versed in the Quran, and 85% believes 100% in its teachings. There's over 30% of Christians that read the Bible, and there's only under 1% of Sanatan Dharmis who are also known as Hindus. Under 1% read the scriptures or know the scriptures. Under 1%. So, determining the status quo of the Guru from under 1% understanding of the Vedas is like showing a light, a candle lit in front of the sun. It's like placing a lit candle in front of the sun. So it is absolutely necessary to attend satsangs and to learn from the Guru. If under 1% knows their scriptures, then it means under 1% are really Sanatan Dharmis. You understand? You can only call yourself a Muslim if you follow the Quran. You can only call yourself a Christian if you follow the Bible. You can only call yourself a Jew, with the exception of Vishwadhar, if you follow the Torah. And you can only call yourself a Hindu if you follow the Vedas. So if you are under 1%, then Hinduism is very small indeed. Very small indeed. But it is the 99% who do not follow the scriptures have become the masters of Hinduism. It is the 99% that do not follow the scriptures have become the real gurus of Hinduism. Yes or no? Yes, because you ask that 99%, they know and they have an answer because their great-grandparents were gods. Their great-grandparents were gods. You ask any Hindu, why are you doing this? Stop doing this because it is not in the scripture, and he'll tell you, no, I can't stop. Because my great-grandparents did it this way. So this is where we are stuck. The right way and the wrong way. So I've explained, and I continue to explain, that there is no difference in Sanatana Dharma and gravity. There is no difference in Sanatana Dharma and gravity. Whether you acknowledge gravity or don't acknowledge gravity, gravity exists. It does not need your acknowledgement to exist. It exists because it's an absolute science. And Sanatana Dharma continues to exist because it is an absolute science. It doesn't need any human to acknowledge its existence. It does not also need any Devi or Devta to acknowledge its existence, because the Supreme is supreme in its own cognizance. All of you understand? So I've stated that the Kurukshetra of South African politics has begun, and the Sri Narayan Dham is intrinsically involved in every aspect of what is happening in this battle of Kurukshetra. You've seen the first political organization that attended this satsang was our great Bruce Gator. He is a very decent, honorable, a man of absolute humility, kind-heartedness, and he is also deep, Jessica, politically deep. If you noticed his recent videos, he was doing a live broadcast and explaining politically what was happening. The Sri Narayan Dham has endorsed him. And I want you to think, this man's cry and the Cape Coloured Congress's cry is for real. It is a real painful cry. Tell me where the coloured people are configured in South Africa and South African politics. Tell me where the coloured 6 or 7 million coloured people of South Africa are configured in the politics of South Africa. Nowhere. And the Sri Narayan Dham is going to give its full might behind the Cape Coloured Congress. They need to be recognized. The coloured people need to be part and parcel in receiving the benefits that South Africa has to offer. They've been thrown in Sydenham and forgotten. They've been thrown in Wentworth and forgotten. They've been thrown in Newlands East. They've been thrown in Marion Ridge and forgotten. And we're going to hold hands with the Cape Coloured Congress. The Sri Narayan Dham is going to hold hands with the Cape Coloured Congress and walk them to victory. Then we had Action SA. It is only logical that in South Africa, where the black population is the majority, that we need to support a black majority party. And Action SA has that credentials of a black majority party that is new, but they have members that have credibility. I have personally met these members. We have not met the leadership yet, but our association with politics is going to be ongoing, and I'm sure every head of every political organization will be here at the Sri Narayan Dham in the next 10 years. Then we had ADEC, Vishnu Reddy. Vishnu Reddy has been the chairperson of the infrastructure of this municipality for many years. Vishnu Reddy of ADEC. You may ask why, as the chairperson, he did not make the necessary changes whilst he was the chairperson. And the answer is that at that point in time, Vishnu Reddy did not have mandate singularly to make any changes. He was the chairperson. That means he knows the infrastructure of the municipality the best. However, when you are involved with huge parties, then you cannot go against your party's policies. You are handcuffed because of your party's policies. So here he has his own party. He has a wealth of experience in the municipality. He also, Jessica, spent many years in the executive of the municipality, I think 10 years. So he has capacity, and he can be an invaluable asset in the eThekwini municipality. An invaluable asset because he was positioned in prime places. In prime places. Then we had Mosa. We had Mosa. Sita, you thinking of Mosi? Not that Mosa, we had the political party Mosa Sita. Alright? Also, they are veteran politicians. They have many years in the municipality. They were part of the DA, and also they were constrained by DA policy and DA leadership in the various positions that they held, but they have experience of the municipality. Then we had the ACC, Active Citizens Coalition. Their president, Imtiaz Mohammed, has spent 10 years doing work in the community through eThekwini Secure and other community enhancing projects. He is fielding 80 candidates, and all these candidates that he is fielding has done a lot of work in each of these 80 wards. So he chose his candidates from work done already. These wards where he's filled in them, I'm sure those people in those wards know them well already in lieu of work done for the past 10 years. Mr. Imtiaz Said is also a very, very deep personality, and he is definitely an asset together with all his candidates to our eTequini. Then we have we had the EFF. Jessica, we don't want to throw away the EFF. However, I think the EFF needs to clarify their position on land without compensation. And that is a sticky point between the EFF and all the minorities. Once that position is clarified, the EFF need to tell the minorities which land from which people will be taken and how it will be taken. So we need to understand this, because if you drive from here to Maritzburg, 1 million houses can be built, or maybe 2 million houses can be built from here to Maritzburg without taking anyone's land. If he's talking about those land that is not being utilized, but it is owned by the white monopoly, then it will make sense. Also, if you drive from here to Maritzburg, you drive from here to Potchefstroom, you drive from here to Empangeni, there's millions of hectares of sugarcane land. If you say you want to take the land of Ilovo Sugar, or you want to take land of Hewlett's and build houses, then it makes perfect sense. Because I don't know how true this information, I have not verified it, but I know all these houses in Amslanga Rocks, and I think Belito as well, these land from Hewlett's, they are on a 99-year lease. Okay? So Hewlett has leased this prime land for 99 years, and then these people will have an option to buy. In those circumstances, I have no problem in building houses for our brothers and sisters that are languishing in their shacks. We have no problem. But the EFF need to clear and tell us clearly their policy of expropriation without compensation, because I think Hewlett's made a lot of money, and Ilovo Sugar made a lot of money, and giving up a few million hectares of land back to the South Africans, I can't see it as a problem. So I think once the EFF clarifies this position, then the minorities might start embracing them as a political party. This is a division between the minorities and the EFF. Then we had ACDP, Jamil, very clean man, very astute, deep as well. Also an asset to eTequini. We had Mrs. Rajbansi, her husband did a lot of work in the Indian community. I think he started the biryani for votes, and the ANC learned from him. All right. So Those of you that want to vote for the minority front, they also have experience both in the municipality and province. All right. Did I miss out anyone? Who? Oh. All right. Well, I'll come to COPE last. IFP, last week we couldn't breathe in this hall. All right. They came on Monday as well and we couldn't breathe again. They multiplied their attendance both times by 3. And Mataji said she's cooking alone today. And she understands that the devotees went through hell. Sunday and Monday. I'm sure we all felt throughout all these attendance, even ACDP, Jamil attended alone. But that divinity, it did not mean how many people you came with. Whichever politician was here, including the EFF, there was a sense of oneness. There was a sense of oneness. There was a sense of belonging. There was a sense of spiritual and human embracement, was there not? They sat here in awe, and we sat here in awe, embracing each other, did we not? And that was the intention. That was the intention of the ashram, to bring the different political parties and show their oneness. And we showed it. And lastly, people may have different views, but somebody that I really admired when I was in mainstream politics myself, Mosiwa Lakota, and we had the opportunity to grace him twice. We had him leave an executive meeting, Jessica, 2 or 3 years ago at the Kampara Convention Center when we had one of our functions. And he left a meeting and flew down to be at that function. And it was in that function I whispered in his ear that Jessica Pandey must be the premier candidate for COPE in KZN. She didn't know that it was a last political act. All right, so she was very happy. We supported her. We went to the IEC. We prayed at the IEC, and I prayed she don't become the premier. Because now she's becoming the premier of premiers. Thank you, Jessica, for all the political coordination that you have done in the past week. Nobody realizes that you are the mom of 2 adult sons. You are the wife of Mr. Satish Pandey, and you work full-time. And in all of this, Guru keeps on dumping more and more work on you. So as the Sri Narayan Dham, we want to thank you for coordinating all these politicians and everything. You can stand, Jessica, let the world see you. But if you ever decide if you ever decide to leave the satsang, then when you go into politics, the people must know who they voting for. All right? Did I miss out anyone? Did I miss out any political party? Did I miss out anything relevant, Jessica? We covered everyone. So when you're transcribing all these political parties, the organizations and the leaders' names, tag and let them see that we said the Sri Narayan Dham stated we are apolitical, and we're sitting today in the same status quo of being apolitical because we endorsed all the political parties that graced our. I also want to endorse, for the sake of politics, Mr. Neil de Beer of the UIM. And I'm saying this because we have to be politically astute. We have to understand politics in its depth. And to understand the emergence of the UIM and Mr. Neil de Beer, we had two players that have let South Africa down. And these two players are the DA and the ANC. And to counter the DA as a white-led party and to weaken the DA as a white-led party, you need another white-led party. Okay? So, if you've been following Mr. Neil de Beer's page, there are a whole host of whites and white organizations that are now embracing him. That will cause a fracture in the DA, which will ultimately benefit South Africa. Okay? So I want to explain in terms of scripture. The Guru must not move 1 millimeter from scripture. All right? And I started with the title, The Battle of the Kurukshetra in South African Politics. So all these parties that I've mentioned and I've endorsed will belong to the Pandavas. Yes? And the DA and the ANC will belong to the Kauravas.
Can that be my caption?
Okay? Because this exact thing happened in the Mahabharata. If you are making prasad, it have to be done outside because it distracts me. The exact thing happened in the Mahabharata. There was political upheaval. There was political unrighteousness. And wherever there is political unrighteousness, who has to intervene? Who? Who? The Lord. And Sri Narayan Dham, as personification of the Lord, intervened in this South African political arena. Sri Narayan Dham, in personifying the Lord, entered into this political arena so that July never happens again. Don't forget July. Don't forget July. If we do not strengthen the righteous political parties spiritually, July is around the corner. July is around the corner. This ruling party called the ANC has imploded. Has imploded. There are so many factions in the ANC now, nobody knows who's the enemy. Nobody knows who's the enemy. Even if there's husband and wife in the ANC, the husband is not trusting the wife and the wife is not trusting the husband. How are South African citizens going to trust this institution? It is unfortunate. It is unfortunate that corruption started whilst Nelson Mandela was alive. It is unfortunate that corruption started whilst Mr. Nelson Mandela was alive. So this battle of the South African Kurukshetra is raging around the world as well, is it not? Can you see the significance of the Bhagavad Gita? I can interface this entire 700 verses into the South African political arena and the world political arena, and it will synthesize perfectly, because when the Lord speaks, He speaks in millions of dimensions. It depends how deep you want to go into the Bhagavad Gita and pull out its jewels. Only 700 verses. Everything that's happening in the world right now, everything that happened 10 years ago, everything that happened 5,000 years ago, and everything that's going to happen in the next 5,000 years is in this Bhagavad Gita. It's in this Bhagavad Gita. So as I said, the Guru did not move 1 millimeter from the parameters of Vedic injunctions. And the Bhagavad Gita is the summary of all Vedic knowledge. The Bhagavad Gita is the summary of all Vedic knowledge. So, many of us have sacrificed many years of our life for the African National Congress. Yes or no? We trusted in the African National Congress. We placed our faith, we placed the faith and fate, faith, F-A-I-T-H, and fate, F-A-T-E, of ourselves and our families in the hands of the ANC. Yes or no? And what did the ANC do? They stole our money. What did the ANC do? They stole our money. Our in capital letters. We told them to manage our money, manage our municipality, manage our province, and manage our country. And what did the ANC do in return? They mismanaged our money, they mismanaged our municipality, they mismanaged our province, and they mismanaged our country. Now we have lost faith, F-A-I-T-H, in placing our fate, F-A-T-E, in the ANC. Our ANC was our family. Our ANC was our family. Then, to make sure that there is no mismanagement at municipal level, provincial level, and national level, we did what our constitution requires. We voted in another set of our family called the DA. The job of any opposition is to make sure that the government runs all its activities as per the constitution. That is the job of the opposition. The real job of an opposition, Jessica, is to make sure that those that are governing us govern us as per the constitution. Did the DA do that? So we placed our faith and the fate, F-A-T-E, of our families in the hands of the DA to ensure that the ANC does not squander our money. And what did the DA do? So now we withdraw our faith, F-A-I-T-H, and our faith of our family, F-A-T, from the DA, because they did not do what a opposition party is supposed to do. But the DA is our family and brothers and sisters. And this is what Lord Sri Krishna teaches Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita. It does not mean that these people are your family, you must withdraw from this fight. It does not mean that these people are your family and that is why you must withdraw from this fight. Are you understanding what the Guru is saying? We were associated with the ANC, we were associated with the DA integrally. Now, because both of them has been unrighteous, we must kill them starting from tomorrow. We must kill them starting from tomorrow, because Lord Sri Krishna tells Arjuna to kill your uncles, kill your father, kill your grandfather, kill your great-grandfather who is in the side of unrighteousness. So similarly, those that have emotional allegiance to the DA and emotional allegiance to the ANC, you need to cut asunder this allegiance, because both of these institutions have been unrighteous. And the Bhagavad Gita teaches us to kill the unrighteous. And when I say kill, Satish Bhai, don't take a gun tomorrow and go to all the polling booths and shoot all the DA party whips and party workers and the ANC party workers. take the pen and put a cross next to these other parties that we have endorsed. Next to these other parties that we have endorsed. So I've endorsed all of these parties from the Sri Narayan Dham, but I will vote for one party and one candidate. But I cannot ask you to vote for that one party and one candidate that I am voting for, otherwise the organization won't be apolitical. Do you understand? So I have my personal preference. You must also have freedom to have your personal preference. Otherwise, if the Guru endorses one individual candidate and one individual party, then we lose our apolitical status. Do you understand? But you'll see me early in the morning. I will be voting, and I want all of you to get up and go and vote. We provided you with a buffet of political parties and politicians. You all might have your uniqueness in a particular political party or that was provided here. You go and vote. But if you vote for the unrighteousness, then you only prolong the misery. You are only prolonging the misery. So the Bhagavad Gita has instructed us what to do tomorrow. This instruction is coming straight from the Supreme Lord Himself and not from the Guru. The Guru is only a messenger of the Lord. So forget all your personal ties and your emotional ties with these two political organizations. They both need to go, starting from tomorrow. Okay, are there any questions? Dave? You're only allowed to vote for one political party in one municipal election. Alright, Dave is spoiled for choice. Two. Yeah, you can choose your candidate from one party and you can choose the party from another party. So your candidate don't have to be from the same party. Alright? So you have a choice of two, Dave. You feeling a little bit lighter? I saw Dave somewhere. So I know that party definitely is going to vote on the party sheet, and then on the individual, I'm sure he's going to find someone suitable. Dave, it will always be like this. Never will be a time in South Africa where you can vote for about 10 or 11 parties. All right? Dave, you understand? All right. Any questions? Satish bhai?
Just a comment.
Yeah.
This invitation by the Sri Narayan Dham was open to every political party.
Yes.
And some chose not to come.
Okay.
Out of their own wishes.
Okay. So, you still on?
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to state that we had invited all the political parties from across the board to come and speak about themselves. Those that came, well, I think Lord Sri Krishna impelled them to be here. Those that didn't come, Lord Sri Krishna did not allow them to be here. So we take in politics seriously at the Sri Narayan Dham because it affects every aspect of our life. And I think next week I'm going to unveil Vision 2031 to our members. All right? Jai Srimad Narayan.